Good afternoon and welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa, Club 2500, District 6110. I know it's going to be a good day when I see Lindy here joining us with Sheree Gardner. Glad you're here, Lindy. Make two quick observations. As you all know, we do have a politician. He'll speak to us today. If you were listening to our pianist, John Hamill, as you came in, he was playing Ain't Misbehaving. I don't know what that means, Lieutenant Governor. One other thing I'll mention is that Jake Dollarhide and I had the opportunity to do some unofficial polling, bipartisan polling of Oklahoma voters. We discovered that 9 out of 10 Oklahoma voters believe that Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell is both the best looking and smartest Lieutenant Governor in the entire state. It's a pleasure to gather together in fellowship and service as Rotarians. We're going to start our meeting today with Maddie from the Tulsa Opera, Maddie Breedlove. She's a Philstrip resident artist. She's going to help us sing the national anthem. She's actually going to sing it herself. And then we've got guest introductions by Rob Gardenhire, and we'll follow that with new member introductions by Mary Beth Sawyer. Please join me in welcoming Maggie.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? If we could turn our attention to the flag and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Well, imagine that. Number one. Sorry. A lot of people are here for Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell. All right, well, welcome, Lieutenant Governor. My name's Rob Gardenhire, and today's guest introductions are brought to you by Bass Pro Shop, celebrating the over 2,000 miles of 6 different fishing trails that we have here in Oklahoma's 38 lakes. Number two. Introducing our visiting Rotarians first, Andy Leitner. At my table in the back. Killian Langner, visiting from Florida. And Harlan Pinkerton. And since we have so many, I'm just going to call your names, and if you'll please stand, and then we'll welcome you at the end. But I'll tell you, as Rotarians, we always love it when we have a big crowd. Can I get an amen to that? If you got your Pinnell bingo card, there's 3 squares checked off by, well, 4 with the free space. All right, here we go. Lindy Gardner, guest of Sheree. Sorry for the mispronunciation. Cindy Salter, guest of Tiffany. Paul Nosak. I'm just going to run through these. Adam Martin, Matthew Parker, Jessica Lee, Darren Gantz, Nicholas Kindelt, Jackson Taylor, Boomer, apparently, Chris Wright, Jay Height, Crystal Dollarhide, Lauren Bush, Rise Martin, Gabrielle Ross, Danielle Boozer, Ross Swimmer, Lorena Salas, Sandy, and thank you for the phonetic spelling, Newsel, Phil Pinnell, got that one too, and Amy Freiberger. Welcome.
Good morning, Rotarians and guests. I'm Mary Beth Sawyer. I'll be doing our guest introductions today. This is my first time to do guest introductions, so bear with me. First of all, I would like to say that I had the pleasure of meeting both of our new members previous to today, but most recently I had the chance to share a drink with Heather at Sheree's house last night as we planned for the Golden Circle Gala. So I'd like to give a round of applause to Heather for already joining a committee and getting involved. Lindsay will be talking to you on Friday about joining committees, so. All right, Heather Lehman. Heather is a mother of 3 grown boys and a grandma to 2 young boys. In case anyone needs a clarification, a grandma is a very glamorous grandmother. And it's really a state of being more than anything else. So her passion is being a serial entrepreneur, as she has owned and sold several businesses throughout the past 11 years, including a tanning salon, CrossFit gym, nutrition store, bowling alley, print shop, smoke shops, and a construction company, just to name a few. Busy, busy, busy. Heather has been investing in real estate for over 10 years and has decided that is what she loves the most. She recently obtained her real estate license and will be teaming up with Sheree Gardner through Coldwell Banker. A little known fact about Heather is that she owned Ringtail Lemurs for 4 years. Is that a business or just you owned multiple lemurs?
It was one of the businesses, yes.
Okay. I would like to see pictures, please.
I have a TikTok.
Oh, amazing, even better. Okay. All right. So Lindsay Skinner is originally from Muskogee, Oklahoma. Lindsay Skinner grew up on her family's hobby farm, where she developed a love for the outdoors and a strong sense of community. She graduated magna cum laude with honors from Oklahoma Baptist University in 2017 with a bachelor's in arts in communication studies. Lindsay has since built her career in the nonprofit sector, serving in key roles at Catholic Charities and Baptist Village Communities. She currently serves as interim director of development at Baptist Village Communities, where she is passionate about serving senior adults. Outside of work, Lindsay is involved at Central Baptist Church and enjoys bowling in a Thursday night league. She is a proud alumna of the People to People Ambassador Program, with travel to England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, and of the Passengers Israel Program, where she studied American-Israeli relations and visited sacred sites in Israel. Most recently, she was chosen to join the Eisenhower Women's Leadership Series, which equips women for leadership in public service. Lindsay is honored to be a new member of the Rotary Club of Tulsa and looks forward to contributing to its mission of service and leadership. I will now present them both with their copy of the 4-way test and their Rotary pins.
Welcome, Lindsay and Heather. We're glad to have you as part of the club. One entrepreneur and one international traveler. John Howland, they'll fit right in with you on that international travel, I think. Now, where's our Sergeant at Arms? Our wigless Sergeant at Arms, Shanna Vollmer.
Let that wig go, Derek.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. Welcome. Kind of getting used to this being referred to as Sarge. Derek, Brian, you didn't tell me that was the fun part about it. I'm going to kick off today first with our big birthday celebration. Happy 73rd to Joe Moran, 73. He couldn't join us today. He has a board meeting, but please do me a favor. Reach out and say happy birthday, sending him a message and gratitude for such a great donation. August birthdays and anniversaries, I'm coming for you. So look out for that. You can get a jump start and contact me. You know how, DACDB. We would love to celebrate your special occasions with you for a good cause. Also, there we go. Want to congratulate everyone for the Be Like social media campaign on sharing the work of Rotary. So thank you to Tiffany, Barbara, Kenny, Sheree, Carl, and Natalie, myself. I believe Eric shared one too, and I didn't get him on the screen. Guys, we're just 2 or 3 posts away. Carl, we're coming after every cent that you're donating every month, that $250. So today, guys, is a perfect opportunity to share the message of the Lieutenant Governor, and obviously next week, the service above self. So please share the work of Rotary in our social media campaign. Also, oops, how do I go back? There we go. All right. I also was very excited at the outpour and excitement on the member spotlights. I do feel like I have the best job in the house. I get to sit with Rotarians, the people behind the pen, and hear their story and share that with you each Sarge time. Sheree Gardner, thanks for being my first one. We learned some lessons here, but before I walked out of the room 2 weeks ago, I had many volunteers, Matthew Bristow with Joseph Bias is coming up, Linda Bradshaw, Carl with Allen, and then Pedro. So we've got a lot of member spotlights coming up. So please reach out. I would love to interview members that you want to hear more about their stories. So with no further ado, we're going to watch Sheree. Again, remember, this is unscripted. It's the people behind the pen. I'm a marketing person, and I have a huge video team, but we did not use any video team. This is raw and an interview with Sheree.
Congratulations on Rotarian of the Year. Thank you. Thank you very much. What was your first thought when Daniel Gomez announced Sheree Gardner Rotarian of the Year? What did you think?
I was sitting by Phil and I go, Phil, are they talking about me?
So, Sheree Gardner, tell us something fun about you that maybe Rotarians don't know.
Well, I love to go to the horse races. I like watching the ponies all around and then going to the beach.
It was kind of your sponsor and the reason you joined.
Tiffany Eckdorf.
Okay.
She got me into Rotary, and the first time I had went and visited the Rotary, it was for the Lindsay House, and I love the Lindsay House. And she was the head of that.
Who are some of the people that have like inspired you, been great mentors in your 3 years that you've been involved?
DJ would be one of them. She goes in, and anytime you need anything, she's always there to accommodate. Daniel was really inspiration to me because when he asked me to chair the wine, cheese, and chocolate, I said, can I change it? And he looked at me, gave me this look, and I was like, I promise you, if you don't like it, I'll go back. And so he was very inspirational.
What's a Rotary moment that you'll never forget?
Well, truthful, winning the Rotarian of the Year, because there are so many Rotarians that are out there that are more than deserving to win that award. And to win something like that is just, and I've never won anything like that. So it's in my living room hanging on the wall.
What's probably one of the biggest changes that you've seen in the club since you've joined?
There's more people starting to show back up. It's a meeting where everybody wants to go to. I always look forward to it.
What does service above self mean to you personally?
One thing that Rotary has taught me about service above self is just giving just a few minutes of yourself on, the day of service, just doing stuff for other people than just going and eating lunch. Not only do you meet people, but you have fun doing it.
What's some advice that you would give someone just joining, new member?
Just come in and just open eyes and come early and stay late.
What's kind of your vision or for the future of Rotary, what you would like to see it become.
My vision is to have the 500 members back, because what we do for Tulsa and the surrounding areas and all over the world. So I think it's a small step, but I'd like to have our membership rise back up.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Black Eyed Peas, let's get this party started.
And guys, we all know Sheree knows how to get a party started. Which reminds me, make sure you sign up for the Golden Circle Gala, because that's going to be a great party you don't want to miss. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Shanna. Good job on that. Sheree, we appreciate all your work on the Golden Circle Gala. Tiffany, thank you for inviting Sheree to become a member of our club. You know, we've got a great speaker here today, and over the decades, our club has had some really excellent speakers, authors, politicians, college presidents, some lawyers, visionaries, including T. Boone Pickens, Hollywood legend Joan Crawford. Were any of you here when Joan Crawford spoke? That was a long time ago. Walter Cronkite spoke at our club. I did not know Walter Cronkite spoke at our club until Tina prepared this for me. David Boren and even Bill Cosby. I was here when Bill Cosby spoke, and that was a little bit of a different experience than I'm accustomed to. But one of the most memorable and touching programs our club has ever had was in this room in 2013 when Thomas Hall was transformed by, I believe, District Judge Greg Frizzell into a federal courtroom during one of our regular Rotary lunches. I'm sure there are a number of you in the room that remember that. That day, Rotarians and community leaders gathered to witness something extraordinary. One of our own, Matt Bristow, a native of the UK, stood among others and took the oath of allegiance to become a United States citizen. The room was filled with pride and emotion as Matt and the other candidates embraced their new identity as citizens of this country. For those who were there, it's a moment we'll never forget. It's part of our DNA. It's a powerful reminder of what it means to welcome others into the fabric of our nation. It's a beautiful reflection of the values we hold dear in Rotary: service, inclusion, and unity. I'd like to take just a minute. I think Tina prepared a video for us of that event so we can see it again. 2 observations. Matt, I had no idea you were that photogenic until I saw this video montage. A few months ago, I had a privilege to attend another ceremony like that at Cityplex Towers that Representative Kevin Hearn hosted. And just like that one in 2013, it's emotional to see the people who have worked so hard to earn that opportunity to receive it in a setting like that. It's so meaningful to me as a citizen of this country to see others embrace it as well. And I know it means a lot to the rest of you also. Speaking of great citizens, Jake Dollarhide is our Rotarian of the day. Jake is the proud father of 2 college-age sons and a devoted husband to Crystal. Crystal, I think this is the first time I've had the opportunity to see you, and you do Jake great justice, my dear. Thank you for coming. He's a financial advisor with 30 years of experience. There's a high probability if you see a Tulsa World reporter or some of the news media reporters reference financial circumstances on their programs, they talk to Jake Dollarhide at Longbow Asset Management. He's also a dedicated member of Life Church. Jake serves as the chairman of the board of the YMCA of Greater Tulsa, sits on the board of Divis, Tulsa Ballet, University of Tulsa's Friends of Finance. He serves on the Collins College of Business Executive Advisory Board. Please welcome me in joining today's Rotarian of the Day, Jake Dollarhide.
Embellish a little bit.
Ah, well.
Hey everyone, I too am excited to hear our very talented Lieutenant Governor speak today. Matt Pinnell was elected the 17th Lieutenant Governor of Oklahoma on November 6, 2018. Pinnell is president of the Oklahoma State Senate and serves on multiple constitutional boards and commissions, including serving as chairman of the Oklahoma Tourism Commission and Route 66 Centennial Commission. He has set his Lieutenant Governor agenda focused on workforce and economic development issues. Pinnell is the chief marketer of Oklahoma and spends much of his time promoting Oklahoma. And in partnership with the Oklahoma Department of Commerce, he launched a talent recruitment campaign targeting the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Now, Matt, remind me, the Metroplex runs from south of downtown Dallas to Lake Texoma and Durant, right? Right, okay, yeah. He also works to retain and attract companies to the state by hosting events throughout the year, including the annual Lieutenant Governor's Turkey Hunt, a 2-week event that showcases Oklahoma to prospective out-of-state companies and site selection representatives. As an entrepreneur himself, Pinnell champions small business growth. He advises the Oklahoma Department of Commerce on small business growth, entrepreneurship, and workforce development. In 2002, he launched A Look at Oklahoma Career Tech, a video interview series that showcases the education and employment opportunities the state's career tech system provides. Pinnell launched a statewide rebrand in 2020, a campaign that streamlined state agency processes and saved taxpayer dollars. Matt has an advertising degree from Oral Roberts University. He lives in Tulsa with his wife of 22 years and their 4 children. Rotary Club Tulsa, please welcome our Lieutenant Governor, Matt Pinnell.
Thank you. We got a lot of guests that need to become members of the Rotary Club, right? Can I get an amen? So one of those, yes, my father, Phil Pinnell. We know this church very well. I grew up in this church. Phil Pinnell still sings in the choir, so I'm sure I would be in trouble if I didn't say, come on back to First Methodist. It's a great church. We live out in South Tulsa now, go to Redeemer Covenant Church there in South Tulsa. My kids are at Jinx. I got 3 at Jinx. Well, actually, now 2 at Jinx because one just graduated. She's at OU. Got 2 at Jinx. Got 1 at Regent. We're Tulsans is what I'm getting at. Love this town. This city's given me every opportunity to be successful in life. And I do think it's important for us to stop and remember how special it is that we are Oklahomans. And not just Oklahomans, yes, I mean, again, I'm a Tulsa homer, I can say that. This town is pretty darn special, is it not? It is one of the most philanthropic communities in the entire country. We have all of the quality of life aspects that other big towns have now, and I'm going to kind of talk about that through my comments here. But I did want to say it's great to be home. Anytime I get to speak in the Tulsa area, it's always extra special. But to be in the church that I grew up in, I used to make prank calls on a telephone that used to be on the wall out here on Wednesday nights. I could tell you a lot of stories, probably. So could my dad. But I'm still here. I got elected to office even after some of those stories. No. But it's great to be at the Rotary. And I will echo that. I would love to see this club get back to 500 members and get a few more roundtables in this room and have to have the conversation of expanding. I speak to the Oklahoma City Rotary all the time. That, I believe, is the largest Rotary, maybe still in the state. I was just in Grove. It's amazing what's happening in Grove. Their Rotary, I think, is the fastest growing Rotary in the state. I am well aware that government can't do everything. Can I get an amen? The private sector, the philanthropic community, the volunteers in our communities, and that means Rotarians, have to step up. We can't and should not try to do everything inside of state government. And so it's wonderful, yes, to speak to community leaders in Tulsa about my office and our projects, but please hear me on that. I speak to Rotaries all the time across our 77 counties. Without those Rotarians, and in particular in a lot of those small communities, we wouldn't be able to do half the projects that we have to do in those smaller communities. So I just want to say kudos to you, and again, I look forward to coming back and seeing this club continue to grow. I'm going to do something a little different today. I got about 20 minutes, but I want to leave a few minutes for some rapid-fire questions from you, so just be prepared for some questions. But I really, as a politician, I know you do have a lot of politicians that probably come through here. I haven't been back in a while, and I really want to share with you tangibly what we have done inside my lieutenant governor office in partnership with other state agencies of just real tangible projects that we have tackled on behalf of taxpayers inside the state. A lot of times you probably don't get that speech from a politician. Round of applause, some easy applause lines. I've been doing this for 7 years now. I'm kind of over that. I'm kind of on this road show now of, hey, here's what we have done. The last 7 years. Through, by the way, the worst flood in state history. Right after that, went right into a global pandemic, inflation, 2 presidential elections. We've been through a lot, have we not, over the last 7 or 8 years? Through all of that, I just, give you a little bit of a look under the hood of what we've been tackling inside our lieutenant governor office. Some of those projects might be small, but they make a big difference. They make a big difference. When I have a responsibility, yes, as your lieutenant governor, as the second highest elected official inside the state of Oklahoma, that's all great and good, but a lot of times I fix bathrooms. That is correct, I fix bathrooms. And if these slides will start moving, I know there's a little bit of a delay. Let me see. There we go. So the importance of statewide branding, and you all can read these slides. I'm not going to read them off to you, but I don't usually use slideshows, so please, bear with me as we start going through this. When I took over as your lieutenant governor 7.5, 8 years ago, one of the many things that we were not doing a great job of is just the first impressions. As you crossed over the invisible line from Arkansas or the state down there to the south of us, forget the name of the state, but it's down there. As we went on vacations and we came back from vacations, we crossed over and you would see "Welcome to Oklahoma" signs, right? Halfway falling over is always my experience with our family as we would cross back over in from Arkansas. A halfway falling over "Welcome to Oklahoma" sign that was all bullet holed up, right? And then right next to that sign was always so ironic, and I would always laugh out loud. It had another sign right next to that halfway falling over sign that said "Discover the Excellence." I mean, we're laughing as Tulsans because you know the sign that I'm talking about. I saw that sign for 30 years of my life, truly. But before, I came into office, and then you cross over again. So we had a very poor run, really, faded sign welcoming people to the great state of Oklahoma. And then you went to our welcome centers. And these welcome centers are visited by more people than most any other state in the country. Why? Because we're smack dab right in the middle of the country. We're where east meets west. We've got cars, trucks beating up our roads and bridges every single day. Most of the time, they're buying a bag of chips and a tank of gas, and they're getting out of Dodge. And I would visit these welcome centers growing up, and they were disgusting. I mean, let's just be frank about it. Those of you all that traveled, our welcome centers wouldn't send my worst enemy to those welcome centers. And I would show up there. After I got elected, I knew I was going to tackle these welcome centers. I showed up there, didn't tell the amazing staffs that work, because we got great people that work there. And I would just sit in the parking lot, and I would watch a mom with a handful of kids walk into those welcome centers to try to go to the bathroom. They would immediately walk out, horrified, right? Which means what? They're not taking the Visit Tulsa brochure that's at those welcome centers to stop and spend money in Tulsa or Weatherford or Stillwater. No. They were getting a very poor impression of the state of Oklahoma. So right after COVID hit, or frankly during COVID, we renovated all of our welcome centers. We put these great new art displays outside in front, actually worked with Narrate Designs right here and Hampton Creative, two Tulsa firms. Narrate came up to me after I was complaining about how poor the bathrooms were at a Rotary Club, by the way, in Broken Arrow. And one of the architects came up to me after and said, I want to help you fix the bathrooms. I said, brother, I've been waiting for an architect to come up. And so a year and a half later, we've renovated. They're some of the best welcome centers in the country now. And by the way, self-sustaining. I put dog parks in all of the welcome centers. On a monthly basis, I'll get people emailing me, thanking me. You were the only welcome center in the entire country that had a dog park. It's the little things. The attention to detail does matter. And so this is a project. If you have visited any of our welcome centers recently and had visited them again before 5 or 6 years ago, you will know that, again, we've made some major upgrades. Does this matter? I think it does. I think it does. To watch, now I sit in front of these welcome centers and I watch families take selfies in front of all of these different spots. It matters. It matters for the first impressions for the state of Oklahoma. And here's something you need to know. And this really goes to the tourism aspects of our state. What do you think the number one question that is asked when a visitor, millions, we're talking about millions and millions of people that visit these welcome centers. What do you think the number one question is when someone walks into one of our welcome centers across the state? You can yell it out. It's okay. We can have some interaction here. Where's the bathroom? It's up there. Where are the buffalo? Okay, I like that. You're getting closer. It's not, am I going to see a tornado today, first off? Where are the teepees? Where are the tornadoes? Where are the buffaloes? That you're in the area. How close am I to the Pioneer Woman in Pawhuska? Ladies and gentlemen, 5 years in a row, because I collect all this data now. We were not collecting data before I got elected there. I said, listen, we got all these people coming in here. We might as well have them fill out a survey, right? Number one question. We're not all an international TV star. I get it. But what is she selling? She's selling buffalo, American flags, apple pie. A cute Main Street line with American flags, straight out of a Hallmark movie. That's what she's selling. She is selling the Americana experience. She's selling America. And I deliver that message all across our 77 counties because we need to remember that's in the DNA of Oklahoma. That's the secret sauce right there. That people flock to our state to see America. I mean, to truly see America. By the way, the good, the bad, the ugly. Don't get me on that soapbox. You got to tell the whole story of Oklahoma because the whole story sells. From the American, the Native American storyline, and there's some good, the bad, the ugly there. You tell the whole story. From Black Wall Street to, yes, the most famous road in the entire world, which I'll get to in a second. The Chisholm Trail, the Code of the West. It's all here. It's all here in one state. It's a complicated history, some of it, yes. But when you tell that history, people flock here. They're obsessed with it. Not just from 49 other states, but for countries around the world. And the Pioneer Woman got that. She totally got that. Yes, she's an international TV star, so it's a little easier for her in Pawhuska, America. But let's stop for a second and realize what she is selling. She's selling this. And if we lean into this, we're going to have a whole lot more people show up in the state of Oklahoma. So that's the welcome signs to the welcome centers across the state of Oklahoma. So as you cross over that invisible line and you start getting closer into the state, one of the other things that we had to fix, I'm still trying to, okay, there we go, is our websites. Now, this is kind of wonky. You don't have to read all of this, but let me tell you what I'm getting at. When COVID hit, every state had it was deer caught in the headlights for many, many states, and I would probably say all 50 states, from a perspective of interacting with taxpayers in their state. When we rebranded the state of Oklahoma, we told people to go to oklahoma.gov, and we told them to tell us what they thought about that website. The overarching feedback was, I'm not even sure I'm on an official government website. That was the feedback. From, again, you Google Oklahoma, it could be a cranky CEO in Dallas that's looking to relocate somewhere. You put you put Oklahoma in Google, it's going to pop up oklahoma.gov. Before we fixed that website and hundreds of other government websites across the state of Oklahoma, we had no unifying theme on those websites. And again, you weren't even sure you were on an official government website. That's wrong. We all pay a whole lot of taxes in the state of Oklahoma. You should demand more from your state government. Unfortunately, it took a global pandemic for 50 states, frankly, to say, you know what, maybe we should do a better job of leaning in a little bit, of making sure that we're doing a better job of making sure that the front door to the state of Oklahoma. Again, I'm trying to go to the next. If you just went, can you flip through on your end? There you go. All right, so there's a before, flip again. Just kind of give you just a little bit. Every agency website. We've done now over 115 state agency websites. Does this matter? It sure does. If you're going to the Oklahoma Tax Commission and you need to file paperwork as a new LLC, is this a little bit in the weeds? Sure. What I'm telling you is we weren't doing this 7 years ago. We weren't doing this until I raised my hand to say, you know what? First impressions matter. The brand of the state of Oklahoma matters. David Wagner gets this. He's in the PR advertising space. Some of you in this room may be in this space. Next slide. This is, again, just a few before and afters. Keep going. So let's get into, again, so that was front door to the state, to, again, a little bit of a flavor of what we're doing inside of our state. Now I want to get into a few of the branding projects that we needed to tackle in the state of Oklahoma. So Oklahoma, when you think Oklahoma, when you have tourists from around the world, I speak all over the country, all over the world, music, once that we get past Boomer Sooner, once we get past Thunder Up, I'm getting a whole lot more Thunder Up these days than I am even Boomer Sooner. Once we get past TPs and tornadoes, they start asking questions about Garth Brooks. We get to Garth Brooks pretty quick, right? Before, again, I'll just say it, before we kind of took over in office, there was very little that we were doing to champion the heritage and the history of the musical heritage and history that we have in the state of Oklahoma. Muskogee, Oklahoma. If you'd been to the Oklahoma Music Hall of Fame, before we shut it down recently to give it a complete renovation, it wasn't worthy of the musical heritage and history that we have in the state of Oklahoma. I went in there a few years ago. They had a poster of, Carrie Underwood on the wall that was kind of crumbled up and fallen over. I said, this is what we're doing for Carrie Underwood? Where's the Garth Brooks exhibit? Right? There was nothing there. These towns, again, urban areas, rural areas, everywhere in between, they have limited resources. And I believe the state of Oklahoma, again, with an asset like the musical heritage and history that we have, we should invest in it from a state level. Tulsa is leading the way on this. Tulsa gets it. From the Bob Dylan archives to the Woody Guthrie Center to OK Pop to everything else that we're doing from a music perspective, Kane's Ballroom, for goodness sakes, I could go on and on. Tulsa understands that brings people to the city. And then they have a conversation about moving to the city of Tulsa. The next generation talent are also demanding those musical aspects for any town that they're living in. So this is a project that we started about a year ago. We announced we were going to be doing a complete renovation to, again, the Oklahoma Music Hall of Fame. Does this matter? I think it does. I think it does. There's a whole lot more people that are going to flock to the state of Oklahoma once we have a museum worthy to talk to them about, and it's not just, again, about the Garth Brooks and the Toby Keiths of the world. It's the future stars. It's the stars right now that are coming out of the state of Oklahoma that we are not doing a good enough job about promoting. I mean, Nashville, Tennessee talks about our people more than we do, right? They're our people, but Tennessee talks about them. Mississippi Blues Trail, all of these other music trails that are around the country, they lean into it. They play to their strengths. Oklahoma should be playing to their strengths too. Our musical heritage and history is one of them, and we're getting involved in it. Next slide. Oklahoma Fishing Trail. The last time that I was here, and yes, I have a cool job. Sometimes I get a pose with Jimmy Houston. I get it. It's a pretty cool deal. So when I was here a few years ago, I may have mentioned the Oklahoma Fishing Trail to you. This was one of the very first projects that my office launched when I became lieutenant governor, because when I was campaigning for this position, I talked to a gentleman on Grand Lake who said, you know what, this is a top 10 bass fishing lake. We don't even have a sign off the turnpike that says that. And I said, you know what, that's a great point. We don't promote the amazing diverse fishing that we have, over 200 different species of fish inside the state of Oklahoma. I had no idea. I didn't know it was such a multi-billion-dollar industry. Anybody can fish. You all know that. You probably have a lot of amazing, family stories of fishing. I certainly do. And to be able to launch this trail, and we did very little other than reaching out to the Oklahoma Department of Transportation. You may have seen some of these Oklahoma fishing trail signs around the state of Oklahoma. We promote all the different loops, northeast Oklahoma, extremely blessed. I mean, you can see just in the initial launch of over $10 million generated in just projected lodging revenue, a 67-to-1 ROI. I mean, the return on your investment, because this is your investment, by the way. I mean, I'm spending, very precious taxpayer dollars of inviting people to the state of Oklahoma. They come here, they fish, and then they go home. We love that kind of money, do we not? I'll take money from Texas all day long to come here, spend their money, and then go home. We're really on to something with this program. The Grand Slam Challenge it's a fun aspect that I created. I had no idea that it would turn into what it has. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, on a monthly basis, I'll sign 10, 20, 30. Congratulations, you completed the Grand Slam of Oklahoma fishing. All that is you catch five different species of fish. You upload them to our fishinok.com website. We'll mail you that little sticker to put on your Yeti cup. That's it. That's the whole campaign. But it's amazing to see these 10-year-old kids or an 80-year-old grandma or grandpa finish this campaign. Does this matter? I think it does. I've had so many states call me, because every state says they're great. They have a great fishing state. No state's really been able to match what we've done with our Oklahoma Fishing Trail. It's really taken off. It's only getting bigger. We've done a number of programs with kids across the state of Oklahoma as well. So next slide. So this gets into, again, one of our special projects. Yes, I'm Mr. Route 66. Actually, you have two. The Mr. and Mr. Route 66 down here. Reese Martin, Ken Busby, wave your hands. Both very involved with Route 66 well before I was. Okay, they've kind of really helped blaze the trail inside the state of Oklahoma. They're both right here in the Tulsa area. Tulsa does Route 66 better than anybody, but a few years ago we said, listen, this is the most famous road in the world, not even close second place, by the way. Most famous road in the world. We have more miles of it than any other state in the country and more attractions. Let's not make this hard. Politics sometimes can be hard. Let's not make Route 66 hard. There should be much more of an investment in Route 66 for these 46 plus communities across the state of Oklahoma. Half of all sales tax that is collected inside the state of Oklahoma comes from one of these communities. Tulsa, yes, is leading the way. Tulsa's invested in this far more than any other community. Oklahoma City involved in that. So Tulsa really has led the way. This Route 66 grant is the game changer. That's the game changer. To be able to invest $6.6 million a year, giving it to communities. By the way, a non-matching grant. This does not have to be a matching grant that we give to Weatherford, Oklahoma. That's where good ideas go to die, by the way. When you go tell a small town, hey, we'll give you $5,000 if you have $5,000. That's where good ideas go to die, particularly with small communities. So I made sure that this was not a matching grant. Obviously, the community has to keep it nice. They have to have the volunteers to make sure that they promote it. But we've already awarded over $20 million in communities. What I want you to hear when it comes to the 100-year birthday that is next year, this is not about blowing out a candle on a birthday cake in November of next year. It's about revitalizing these communities between now and then. Because if we do that, then we can convince the Czech Republic Route 66 Association, which, yes, there is such a thing, when they ship their motorcycles over here, they're staying 3 days instead of 1 day. When that family, in Kansas City, Missouri, is looking for a week-long vacation, they'll come to Oklahoma because we have built up such a very cool Route 66 for even a 10-year-old. That's the end goal for us, is to keep people here longer. And we can absolutely do that between Tulsa and Oklahoma City. from a hospitality perspective, the small towns as well. This is something that is going to be a real legacy piece for us. Go to the next slide. Gives you an idea. Here's 3 projects in our backyard here. City of Catoosa was selected to build a new travel center at the Blue Whale. Again, I met people when I was campaigning, didn't even know about this Blue Whale. That's one of the most famous roadside attractions in the entire United States of America. We got it 15 minutes from here, right? Catoosa's doing a great job, but they don't have $1.2 million to build a new visitor center. We're giving them the money to do it. Tulsa Route 66 Main Street, I love them. They've got a really fun project that they're putting, a dinosaur roadside attraction in Howard Park with a little smaller dinosaur. Teresa Knox over at the Church Studio got a grant as well. There will be future investments from that grant in Tulsa. We've done 2 or 3 rounds of awarding. We removed the sunset on those dollars, by the way. Oh, and by the way, Keep Oklahoma Beautiful, I have to give them a shout out. They're amazing. They do stuff all across the state, but they're literally cleaning up the road for us. And yes, we talk about our roads and bridges all the time. You do need to know that ODOT, Oklahoma Department of Transportation, has spent over $88 million over the last 5 years on road projects on Route 66. Because I am well aware that getting your kicks on Route 66 should not mean bouncing down the road. I get it. I'm tired of telling that joke, by the way, but it's true. That's the foundation building block, and you can give Tim Gatz a pat on the back every once in a while, and on this one, $88 million over 5 years, that's real money. Some of those projects right here in Tulsa. Next slide. Oklahoma Golf Trail. So because we launched the Oklahoma Fishing Trail, because I was talking about Route 66 and all these other amazing tourism projects, I had Representative Sheila Dills, you know her, she's a good Tulsa girl. She opened, by the way, one of the best bakeries in the state of Oklahoma in Jinx, America. You need to go check her out. She was smart enough to retire from the legislature early a couple sessions ago, but her last piece of legislation was creating this Oklahoma Golf Trail. And I was talking to a couple gentlemen here before. I golf. I'm not good at it, but I love it. I do. Grew up playing tennis, but I love playing golf now. And if you're a golfer, you know about the Alabama Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. You probably know about some of the destination golf, Bandon Dunes, Sand Valley, some of these other, very impressive destination golf attractions across the continental United States. Oklahoma wasn't doing a thing. Talking about the amazing, again, rich heritage and history, Perry Maxwell courses alone, for goodness sakes. It's not just Southern Hills. I mean, we got them all across the state of Oklahoma, but we weren't promoting them. And so we created the Oklahoma Golf Trail. I mean, look at that, $100 billion to the U.S. economy annually, over 28 million golfers. And by the way, that's grown by 3 or 4 million over the last few years. Yes, COVID helped fuel that, but we have sustained that growth. So we launched this in May of this year. We have an app. You can download the app as well, start booking tee times. We have 18 courses right now. We certainly hope to add more, and we hope what this starts a conversation on many courses around the state of Oklahoma that want to be better. They want to get on the trail. We're partnering with our sovereign nations on this project. We think that's what really helps separate us from a lot of other golf trails around the country, is that we have very wealthy tribes inside the state that are really geeking out on this golf trail. The Cherokee Nation, Chickasaw Nation have golf courses on this trail. So I just mentioned this. Does this matter? I think it does. When people are coming in for a football game, to know that they Google golf in Oklahoma, this is the first thing that's going to pop up now. And if that keeps somebody here longer to spend sales tax dollars, but then from that, again, you can have a conversation about them moving to the city of Tulsa. We think in a number of years, we're going to make please hear me, we're not just slapping up signs and saying, okay, we're done with this. We're going to work with all of these courses to make them better, but hopefully add more courses as well. Next slide. I think this just gives you an idea of the golf. It's oklahoma.golf is the website, oklahoma.golf, so please go to that website. Next slide. Oh, look, I have some fancy, didn't even know that, all right, so I'm going to end on this, and then I'm opening it up for questions. I mentioned about Dallas. The next 10 years inside the state of Oklahoma, I would say the next 10 to 20 years inside the state of Oklahoma, a big narrative, and I see Crable here with the Tulsa World. I see a number of our news stations as well. A big storyline in Oklahoma is the march from Dallas to the state line, right? We know about this. 20 years ago, we would go down to Dallas to win a football game, and we would pass cow pastures in Anna, McKinney, Denison. There was nothing there. There was an article in the Wall Street Journal this past weekend that we were talking about. Think about this. There were 6,000 people that lived in Frisco in 1990. In less than 2 years, there will be 350,000 people that live in Frisco. 12 high schools in Frisco. 42 elementary schools in Frisco. The cranes in the air are not in Dallas anymore. They're in Sherman. They're a stone's throw from Durant and Ardmore. That it is an opportunity unlike any other opportunity for the state of Oklahoma is what I'm getting at. These are our homegrown boys and girls that went down there for a job. They're my college buddies that all my buddies graduated with landman degrees, right? They went down to Dallas. They went down to Houston. They loved it for about 5 years. They hate it today. They're in an hour and a half, 2 hours of traffic. They can't afford a house in the center of town. The quality of life is completely flipped. One of the greatest days that I've had as being the lieutenant governor was the day that one of my buddies took a picture of the billboard that I put up in the Dallas Metroplex area on the busiest highway in Dallas that says, if you lived in Oklahoma, you'd be home by now. That's right. That's right. And my buddy, who I graduated with, took a picture of it sitting in that traffic and sent it to me and said, well played, well played. But that's all part of this Live in Oklahoma campaign. So you go to the website. It's a really great website. It has a calculator on there to talk about, again, just the cost of living. We don't have the resources to target Denver, Kansas. Listen, we could really go far and wide. The Tulsa Remote Program, we work hand in glove with them because they've got a lot of great data to talk about the additional communities that we need to get into. But this next generation town is looking for a community where they can make a difference, but they can afford a house, and there's something to do at night. That's Tulsa. That's why this Tulsa Remote Program has worked. People have come here. Thanks for the $10,000, George Kaiser, but then they actually like living here. They're not taking the check and then leaving 12 months later. Most of those people have moved here full time because they've seen how great Tulsa is. Oklahoma City is the 20th largest city in America today. Think about that. So when we invest in ourselves, when we invest in the next generation, then we can then go out with a straight face and tell people why they should be living inside the state of Oklahoma. Last slide, and you can hang on this. This is what it means to be a lieutenant governor. That is George Nye, the man, the myth, the legend. Some of you all may, and again, he's 90, I think now 94, 95 years old. This was a few years ago when we were celebrating the 50-year anniversary at the McClellan waterway right there on the Arkansas River, our seaport in the state of Oklahoma, for goodness sakes. He drove over for this. He just hands on his hips, just looking like look at him. That is a lieutenant governor right there. He's really been the model for me as lieutenant governor. Of being a sales and marketing director for the state, of talking about the positive things, well, yes, fixing things at 23rd and Lincoln. We need more George Nyes. We really do. And that is, by the way, a Republican saying that about a lifelong Democrat. If we can come together, Republicans, Democrats, independents alike, and rally around the stuff that we should be promoting, a lot of the things that I just talked to you about, we will be a better state. We will be a state that future generations actually want to live in. Well, yes, fixing things down at 23rd and Lincoln, that's where you may have a few questions. So it is 12:54. Look at that. I've got 5 minutes. I can rapid fire as many questions as you have, but I just want to say thank you again for the invitation of being here today. I hope you've learned a little bit more about your state. I hope a few positive things, and as long as I'm lieutenant governor, which will be about another 17 months, I can't run again. 2 4-year terms is all I can, we have term limits. Every single day, I'm going to be promoting what's good about the state of Oklahoma so that we are showing kids in this state that this is the best state to live, work, and play. And giving them just one more hesitation of not going to the University of Arkansas or not taking that job to be an attorney in Dallas. But you know what? I'm going to stay here because I see what our leaders are spending money on and investing in me here. I'm going to take a shot on my own town and on my own state. And I'll be committed to that as long as I'm your Lieutenant Governor. Thank you for giving me the opportunity of doing it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, okay. All right. So let's wrap it. It doesn't matter what it is. You can ask me any questions. Yes. Yeah, what's one of my favorite events for the routine? So at the top of the list, again, I can say, I know it's easy for me to say it's a Tulsa event, but we are trying to break a Guinness Book of World Record car parade. Yes, in the city of Tulsa on May 30th. Thank you, Ken and Reese. May 30th of next year, we should be having a concert that night at TU as well. More to come on that, but there should be a very big concert that night. That's one of the bigger things that I'm excited about. Kane's Ballroom will be where we are blowing out the candles, by the way. We're going to do a Centennial Crawl event at a number of locations in downtown Tulsa on November 11th as well. That's a ways off, but go ahead and put that on your calendar now. Kane's Ballroom, November 11th. Yes?
You're correct about us growing our club. May we make you an honorary member?
Come on, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll go sign up as many people as you need. Yeah, yeah. What else? Yes, here and then here. Yeah.
You mentioned one of your responsibilities is attracting companies, potentially move here. One of my concerns relates to the public school system.
Yes.
And how low we were, ranked 49.
Yeah.
Is anything being done to try and deal with it?
So, yeah, education, get the question every time. What are we doing to move that needle from 48th, 49th? I will tell you we're going to be able to do a whole lot more in a couple years. And I will give our legislature some credit. The last two legislative sessions, we've done some teacher pay raises. And listen, that's great. So is Arkansas. So is Texas. What teachers tell me, because I go directly to the source, teacher aides in every classroom, and reducing those class sizes. If you have a teacher, and again, my kids go to Jinx, there's close to 30 kids in those classrooms now. And if that teacher's teaching a third grade reading test to 30 kids, half the kids, English is not the first language, and they don't have a teacher aide in the classroom, you are going to have a lot of teachers that get burned out and will go to Home Depot and make more money. That is the reality, not just in Oklahoma, by the way. That is the reality across a lot of states. So we have to get more teachers help in the actual classroom. You got to. And if that doesn't change, you can pay a teacher starting salaries, yes, have to get better. That will help. But I have far more teachers talking to me. Listen, I didn't get in this to get rich. It would be great to be able to make a living, of course. But give me more help in the classroom so that I can actually teach. I didn't get in this to do anything other than teaching these kids. I love hearing that. I love hearing that from teachers. We have the money to do that. You should be looking every state rep and every state senator in the face and telling them, hey, the lieutenant governor and the governor in the state of Oklahoma, because we both say it all the time, we have more money in our savings account than we've ever had in state history. That's great. I mean, we got money for a rainy day. There will be a rainy day coming in Oklahoma. But we don't need $4 or $5 billion sitting on the sidelines. We need those dollars invested in our Department of Education now. But we will have, again, you're going to see new leadership across, every statewide elected official is up in a couple years. And there's been some good things that we've done at the Department of Education from an accountability perspective. But we've got to make sure that we're working with those superintendents and those teachers moving forward. Yeah, right here. Yeah, Oklahoma State Parks. So we generate close to $500 million a year, which I never thought it was that high, of just getting people visiting our state parks. It's pretty amazing. We have 39 of them. Here's the problem. We got a whole lot of state parks. We don't have a whole lot of money to promote them or fix them. We have about $250 to $300 million in deferred maintenance at our state parks. Now, I put new bathrooms in all of our state parks. You're welcome. Again, public restrooms are of the state of Oklahoma. So those new restrooms that you see at the parks, you're welcome. I put those in there. That's getting a whole lot more moms and dads out there. But the diversity of our state parks, Arkansas has really, really nice state parks. You know why? Because in 1990, they passed a statewide sales tax, an eighth of a penny sales tax. And an eighth of a penny of that sales tax goes to their state parks and heritage centers. So they get about $50 million this year just for their state park system. We didn't do that in Oklahoma. Missouri has the same setup. So, we're operating with very limited resources, constantly having to go back to the state legislature for more money when our state parks are more diverse than Arkansas's. To be able to go from Broken Bow to Little Sahara in one day, that's pretty special. And it gets a whole lot more people outside. So that's something that we want to continue to be able to do. I'll finish on this cool story on that. I had a couple come up to me after a speech like this, and they said, well, you were talking about us in your speech. And I said, well, what do you mean? She goes, well, we lived in Denver during COVID. And everything was shut down in Denver, and we couldn't go anywhere, and we love parks. And so we just Googled one day, state parks that were open in America. And our lodges were shut down, but we were not going to tell a mama bear who had 4 kids at home, by the way, that was my wife included in that she couldn't go walk in the woods with her kids when their schools were shut down. Maybe you wanted to be that person. I was not going to be that person. So we said, listen, our parks are going to stay open. And so he said, listen, we saw that Oklahoma's were the only parks that were open. I married a Texas girl. She didn't want to go there, but we had to go to Oklahoma. And he goes, we visited 7 state parks in 2 weeks, and they looked at me with a smile on their face. And he goes, guess who now lives in Oklahoma? They relocated. They live in Oklahoma City. He works remotely for an architectural firm. That was because of our parks. One family at a time. It may be a park system that helps deliver that. But I need you to be talking to our state legislature to make sure that we have the resources to make those the assets that they need to be. Yeah. All right. Thank you all so much.
A book commemorating Matt's talk today. For those of you who speak Spanish, it's Oh, the Places You'll Go. Man, Greg Keck, if you had a marketing guy like that at a car dealership, you'd be the top dealer in the nation. My goodness, I enjoyed that. That's lots of energy, Matt. Holy cow. Well, thank you so much for being here. Next week, we've got, next Wednesday, July 30th, is our 5th Wednesday service above self from 11:30 to 1. Join us at Our Blood Institute there on 4601 East 81st, just up the street from CityPlex. Come say hi if you can, where volunteers will assist with assembling next-gen donor kits and rolling T-shirts for College Welcome Week. Lunch will be provided. Free food. More details can be found in the Monday message. On August 6th, another great program is Sheila Cook from the Tulsa Port of Catoosa talking about everything that's going on there, which is actually quite remarkable. August 13th, our own John Raines, who's now officially a district governor, will be here. And then, how many of you have bought your tickets for Golden Circle Gala? There you go. You need to start buying those. September 26th, I want to thank our gold sponsors, We Be Trees, Tim Naw, Trey Walling with Scissortail Custom Pools. Just look for the cowboy hat. Coldwell Banker Select, our own Sheree Gardner, Farmers Insurance, Dave Bryant, Ellsworth Construction, Ryan Quattracci, Health Zone at St. Francis. I guess that doesn't work really. Graydon Yohe. This week's silver sponsors, J.D. Young, Doug Stewart, Michael Hairston of Trust Company of Oklahoma, Allen Edwards, Inc., Chip Edwards, MidFirst Private Bank, Becky Fields Wilson. Becky, good to see you. NPI, Nameplates, Brooke Hamilton. Our bronze sponsors this week, John Croissant with Allstate Agency, Lewis Roofing, Kevin Lewis, Ken Freeman, Moore Funeral Homes, Joe Moore. Did I see Joe here today, or did he skipped on us? Regent Bank, Elaine Dishman, and Greg Boudreau. We do have one committee meeting today. It's a new member orientation. Who's doing the new member orientation? Barney's doing our new member orientation. Get to know Rotary. That'll be in room 231 upstairs. Thank you all for being here today and for your dedication to the ideals of service above self, fellowship, and making a meaningful impact in our communities. Before you leave, please say hi to Lindsay and Heather, our new members, and they'll be at the guest table in the foyer. We are adjourned.